Hello, everybody. My name is Kailaria, and I will be doing the Cadence of Hyrule run today. Uh, what is the seed that we should be using?
A lot of fun.
All right, with capitals.
Uh,
All right. Okay, let's get this
What
run
is your
started.
face? Oh wait, no, there's no room.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead and get this run started. And then commentary will go ahead and start talking because this requires a lot of concentration. So going in 3, 2, 1.
All right, so first off, my name is Lucoa. We're gonna be going through a lot of stuff really fast. So first we're gonna see speedrunners choose Zelda, mostly because she gets an item called Nehru's Love, which gives invulnerability frames at the cost of stamina. See the purple stamina bar there in the upper left. It also reflects damage back at the attacker, so it's quite vital to the run. You'll also notice right now that she's rapidly pausing and unpausing. There is a reason for this. Normally, you and enemies only move on beats of the music unless there are no enemies on the screen. However, we can pause and unpause the game at basically any time, and the soundtrack still plays during the pause. So, because the world moves to the beat of the music, if you pause and unpause with the right rhythm, you get a glance at the world map without losing any time at all. I promise you the entire run won't be like this. She'll only be doing this to get her bearings every now and then, and there's like an item strat, because we can also, the entire pause menu is at our disposal for like a fraction of a second. The map is partially randomly generated, and I can't see where we're going here. So we found the Kakariko Village. Certain features will only generate in certain general areas. Also, there's Frankersy in the bottom corner there. Our goal in the early game is to get 4 instruments from 4 temples. There's a Temple of Storms in the top of the map in Death Mountain. There's a Gerudo Valley temple in one of the 4 corners. There is an Ice Temple, which is just south of Hyrule Castle in Lake Hylia, and the Swamp Temple, Lost Woods. It's kind of nebulously on either side of Hyrule Castle. It's either left or right. In addition to that, we also need to wake up Link. He's taking a nap in Kakariko Village, which it can spawn about anywhere. Fortunately, we already found it. Let's see. We need to get an item, the Hibiscus Potion, from the Kakariko Crypt, which is a short 1-level dungeon. But it's very slow. I think it's the slowest soundtrack in the game. We can do these in basically any order, but to make future routing easier, you'll also see her activate Sheikah Slates. She's already activated the one in the Kakariko Village. And they let us use fast travel point. They serve as fast travel points for later when we get the loot. Cadence has the loot, and she's tucked away in a variety of caves. There's a few items that she can give. You see a bomb skip here. A lot of the dungeon floors, or all the dungeon floors for the temples in the beginning of the game, all have a built-in level 1 skip. And that's just, there's a lot of different ones that people have found. I think most of them have been found by like Cloud Max, from what I remember. Shout outs to Cloud
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. So one of the things that we're going to do early on is kill Freddie Merchantry. He's named after Freddie Mercury. And another thing that I didn't mention earlier that you saw there, in addition to providing iframes, the Nehru's Live item also reflects the damage back, so it's incredibly useful. One of the features that you'll see in the dungeon here is this particular room has a kind of border around it. That means it is the final exit room of the floor. we want those are unlocked by keys. We need approximately 8 to 9 keys throughout the run. There's 3 keys that are used for the Hyrule Castle dungeon in the late game, 1 each for the temples, and then there's 1 needed for Kakariko Crypt. And as long as we don't die, then we keep all those keys, but we'll lose them all if we have issues. Now, Kailaria didn't take out the boss here in this dungeon, so we're gonna need
slightly new tech.
Yeah, it's new old tech because we used to do something like this before back in the beginning. So this is really nice. There are a smattering of items about that we can locate by features on the map, and that was one of them, the Wisdom Torch. We're also looking out for hover boots. We're also looking out for hover boots and the Goron amulet, but in general, but since Kailaria already got the coupon, we're kind of hard in on finding the Goron shop.
Which
kind
is
of a little,
here.
Oh, that's really convenient. It's on the way too. It's sometimes this shop. Yeah, sometimes this shop does not spawn on the way to anywhere, and it's awful.
Okay.
So this is by far the easier way of dealing with one of the skips later, which is in the Gerudo Valley. We'll see that later. Let's see, anything else in my notes? I think that's it. I got through all my notes. All right, so that covers about the early game, and we can kind of react. And I guess we should probably introduce ourselves. And no, I already did. So go ahead, other commentators.
There we go, the loot.
Yeah, my name is Cryss.
And I'm PrincessMadelyn. I was in here for the Kirby's Adventure run earlier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we tapped that Lost Woods Sheikah Stone and picked up the loot from Cadence. So now we'll be able to teleport from all those activated ones now, which will help a lot with navigating this overworld.
Ooh,
I love using the hook shot to get that that key, the poison pond key. That green water is poison, and it'll do, I think, 2 hearts of damage to you over time.
It's only 0.5 from the water.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's half a heart, but I think by walking through the entire pond, you would still take
you take 2
few
damage
hits.
from it.
1.5.
So we're almost
is
going into Gerudo Valley, by the way. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the hookshot is an amazing item just for movement. Because it always takes two beats to extend and retract. So anything you can latch onto and two means that it only takes 2 beats to cover that distance, and it's such a great item.
Yeah, it's so good. Now we're getting into Gerudo Valley here, and we're getting the glove. I think, is it the Titan's Band or just the regular?
It's Power
Glove. So the Power Glove, we have to perform that music puzzle. The answer to the puzzle is always the same colors. So as long as you memorize the colors, then it's fine.
The colors depend on arch variable in order, though.
Mm-hmm.
I
Except
believe the colors are tied to specific notes.
The colors are tied to specific notes. It plays the Gerudo
The order
Valley
may be
theme.
different.
Yeah,
Gerudo Valley.
Yep. Gerudo Valley, right?
I mean,
always
just
say
in
Gerudo.
general, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Mhm.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. As long as we match up the right colors, then we get that every time. We're trying to get the titanium dagger here. Titanium in both Crypt of the Necrodancer and this game is +1 damage.
And
Oh,
damage is
go ahead.
very important. You always want to be able to be doing as much damage as possible.
And that's a useless item.
And here we just saw Kailaria go through a wall adventure here. You can get up on the wall, and it can be pretty convenient, especially when the windmill or something spawns.
There
right
is
behind.
not a half block.
Oh. That's
Oh,
you have to go
Huh.
through the old-fashioned way. It's pretty rare. It usually
Sort
spawns.
of. There is
That
a
is-
little
Right, you have the
Yucky.
hook shot, so you can make it easier. From what I
I've got a
remember,
different path.
it's been a while since I've actually run this game.
So what we do for this is we get Din's Fire.
which is which makes, in my opinion, makes bombs and bomb shoes obsolete. But
It's so good.
Not necessarily.
I mean, like, yes, there is exactly one type of material that Dense Fire cannot cannot break open, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, I've never seen this strat before. I really like that. That's clever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another thing to note, I don't think this has been mentioned yet, but this is a single time run. If you
Yes.
watched the Cadence of Hyrule at AGDQ earlier, that was in double time, so that we were moving twice as quickly as we are right now.
Yeah, that was an optional challenge mode. That's not the normal play style of
Yes.
the game.
This is
Um,
the default.
Spooty and Goof are just insane like that.
And I take a random picture.
We just saw the skip to get into the Temple of Storms. Basically, we perform a series of arcane maneuvers that allow us to get into the exact correct facing and
Ooh, right
facing
here.
position.
There we go.
Ah, nice. So because we have all these keys, we can unlock that gold chest, which has the rapier. The rapier is by far the best weapon in the game, mostly because it has this lunging attack that adds +1 damage as well.
Piercing.
It's very good. Piercing. So the way that a lot of the items work in this game, there's a lot of temporary items, and they have a durability. And
okay.
rings lose durability when you get hit. So as long as Kailaria manages to reduce her damage from the from enemies and so on, then she will keep this ring of piercing.
Best
There's
ring in the
a
game.
variety of other rings. Piercing is very good. Some people would argue that courage is good, but in this game, I don't know that it's necessarily quite as good as.
I mean, Courage Ring is
Still pretty
is fine.
good.
It's
But
very
it-
good.
But I mean, you got the
fast.
shovel, the Courage Shovel, which is you know, also very good.
Wow, the courage.
Yeah, courage is really good. You see that in Crypt of the Necrodancer as well. Like almost all of the really, really good builds that people can get are courage. So this is the first boss we're going to fight, Glockenspiel. We damage Glockenspiel with a few bombs to make the heads a little easier to deal with.
Manageable.
Yeah, this fight can get out of hand really quickly. And we missed the flawless, but that's okay. We already got what we actually wanted out of the flawless chest. Are you gonna infuse?
Yes.
So there's a hidden room behind Hyrule Castle here. I think only Zelda can normally get access to it. I'm not 100%.
Everyone
sure.
can get access to it. It's just Zelda's the fastest
Gotcha.
because she's got her bedroom.
Right. There's an infusion mechanic here. Basically, we can enchant our weapons with whatever type, weapon subtype that we want in this infusion thing. There's a variety of subtypes, but the one that we've seen titanium with the titanium dagger. Here we've seen obsidian. Obsidian is a bit riskier because the damage isn't necessarily consistent, but because the damage is based on your multiplier. Your multiplier increases when you defeat enemies without dropping beats or getting hit. And so as long as we play perfectly, then we never lose the multiplier.
That
I
infusion,
just toss the box up and into the second floor.
that infusion room blew my mind when I saw it at AGDQ for the first time. But then I realized it's not really all that helpful in 100% because you want to be able to be covering as much of the map as possible anyway. So I mainly run.
Now I should have enough keys.
That's another thing I think that's recently changed in newer updates. Before, key grinding was a lot harder, and now we can just see keys in walls and stumble upon them, so it's not...
Seeing the keys is dependent on that torch, but still,
True, but I think
it's so nice. There's so many keys everywhere. I wish I had that back when I was running the game.
Yeah,
you're gonna hope you had the torch anyways, right?
I mean, you could still see the sparkle of the hidden item even without the torch. Without the torch, but the torch does make it even faster because it's in plain sight. For some reason, in earlier versions of the game, keys did not show up with the torch, even though unless they were already in a chest.
All right, Gomaraka should go down pretty quickly with this rapier. We took some damage though, so we're lacking on the damage now. That's the unfortunate risk that you take with the obsidian infusion. But it still went down pretty quickly.
By the way, make as many music puns as you possibly can. It's in spirit of this game.
Yes, it really is.
I think now would probably be a good time for donations. This skip is pretty self-explanatory. We swim through the lava. So
awesome.
maybe,
I have a
2
couple
donations?
of donations for you. We have $25 from Natalie Today 216. Time for some Cadence of Hyrule. Can I see some sour please in the chat? Big thanks to the rest of the mod team for being such great folks, and to everyone for making this event so wonderful. Have time for one more?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. We have another $15 from This Is Not Jake. I have to support my any Sly speedruns. This game is godlike.
I want to remind Kailaria before she gets too much further in the run that you still have not done the Kakariko Crypt yet.
Yeah. Make sure to wake up Link. You have to wake up Link.
And I'm doing this backseat gaming because you did mention that you forgot to do it in practice, so, you know.
Yeah. I wasn't going to mention it unless it happened. But,
well,
that's just me. I'm slightly cruel.
But with three bosses dead, it's something you gotta keep in mind.
Yeah.
Which does mean I need an extra key, but that's fine. It's right here.
Yeah. Oh, and it happens to be right there,
right
so
there.
we don't need to go significantly out of the way for it.
What the heck is it? Is it down there?
Probably down right. Or no.
Power butt.
Oh, it's
Power beats.
middle. Or something.
Spider maze. Oh no, it isn't. Never mind.
Oh wow, I've never seen this weird tiles before. That's strange.
Yeah,
It's part of the new layouts because of dungeon mode.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, they added dungeon mode relatively recently. That was like a couple months ago now, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
it is down there. Dang it.
they also added a dog that exists literally only to be pet.
Which is very important update.
I pointed that out earlier. We probably won't see it again, unfortunately. It's by far the most important update since the game has been released, I feel.
These boots are important though.
Oh,
Those are the
Here we go.
boots of power. They add +1 damage. So now we're doing bare minimum 2 damage. So that's really convenient.
Three with a thrust.
Yeah, 3 with the lunge, 2 with a normal attack, and that's at minimum. It goes up with the multiplier up to a total of 3 base damage, +1 from lunging, +1 from boots of power. So we can do up to 5 damage here. I think, is this the last boss? Yeah, this is the last boss that we have. So we're almost in go mode. Oh no, I hate that pattern so much.
Those snowflakes are just the worst to try to get past.
Oboe, now Wizrobo is my favorite boss. I just love his music. It's so good.
Oh, Glockenspiel is my favorite music. I don't know about boss. I've died many, many times to that one.
I'm partial to it because I was a bassoon player, so the double.
Well, I mean, I was a clarinet player, so you think that should be my favorite, but it's close. It's up there. The music in this game is just great.
So this is why we needed all those items and to wake up Link. We have to have Link woken up and all those items in order to get through that barrier. Interestingly, there used to be a barrier skip. I had the world record with that strat when it existed for about 45 minutes.
It's since been patched out.
It has since been patched
there
out.
are other forms, but
Not nearly.
I believe the one that
not reliable.
Yeah, I would believe that Lucoa was referring to the one that she was most familiar with.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You got up on the side. It was gross. You had to have. There was a bunch of different items that you needed. Interestingly, the seed that I used when I had the seeded world record for it was my name. So, and it just happened to be really, really, really good.
It was a sign.
It was a sign. It was literally the first one I tried, and it happened to be the best possible one. So we are.
It's not going to last too long. And there it goes.
Yeah, we're in the Hyrule Castle dungeons here, or Castle Dungeon rather, and this is why we were getting all these keys for the most part.
Yeah, biggest criticism I have with this game is that this is not the Hyrule Castle music we should be hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Those guards are awkward.
It's just sort of right here. Oh yeah, those guys. What are those guys doing? They're asleep on the job.
Let's get some stamina.
Oh, taking the battle torch? Did they patch out that glitch?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, thank goodness. I hated that so much. You said if you got hit with the battle torch, but if you hit yourself with a battle torch with like your bomb or something, the battle torch does retaliatory damage to enemies that hit you. But if you hit yourself, then you would take infinite damage and instantly die.
I'm glad I never use it.
That's why I never used it. The Octavio fight is pretty self-explanatory, I feel. We need to deal damage to him, and it actually deals damage to those crystals up there, the instrument crystals. And then once we defeat all of those, we need to actually defeat him properly. And that's the fight. This has so far been the big bad of the game. However, there may or may not be a surprise after this boss fight. I wonder if you'll be able to figure it out.
There's Cadence. There she goes.
I think Octavo is probably my favorite boss fight, just because I like how the instruments mix in and out.
I definitely like it better than the actual final boss fight. Spoiler alert: it's Ganon. I'm sorry to
Ganon's the final boss
destroy
fight.
the illusion. In a Zelda game, who would have thought that?
It's not just Ganon, it's for Ganon.
Yeah, the game didn't actually call it that because trademarks.
Yeah.
This is the best music in the game, in my opinion.
It is.
Yes.
Hyrule. It is
This music
absolutely
slaps.
not
It's
a
so
question.
good.
The Dark World Overworld theme, so good.
It's always a bit disappointing when you're watching speedruns of this game because it doesn't last long enough. You know, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden we're done. And I want to just listen to the music.
Go this way.
This is also basically by far the hardest part of the run. This part is never not scary, at least in my experience.
Map. Good.
And
good.
any percent sure.
And I'm at like 3 health.
Yes. That's what I'm most familiar with, and since that's what we're running.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the map pickup is pretty huge because that lasts the entire dungeon. So we are gonna at least be able to see where we probably are. Sometimes I feel that the compass is better. It just kind of it shows you what direction you need to go.
Ooh, there we go.
It also
I find that
courage.
easier too. The mini map in this game I find hard.
Shovel of Courage
Look
just
at.
in time.
And the fairy fountain.
the compass also points out where chests are on the map, which if you're doing 100, if you're doing 100%, it makes finding the legendary weapons less of a blind wandering around.
Yeah, there's a bunch of legendary weapons that spawn in this general area.
Oh. Hi there.
And it can be really annoying to find all of them, but they can be very powerful. Oh, the Daira decided to come visit you, I see.
Hello.
Yep.
Right, we're almost there.
Okay. No.
This part of the game is, in my opinion, the closest the regular any percent comes to
here, yep.
Story mode any percent rather comes to
classic Necrodancer.
Reproducing the feel of classic Necrodancer.
Not
exactly.
done, but that's done with the future Hyrule. And we honk this.
Oh, that is such a relief that you're through this.
Yeah, and I've got 4 bombs, so I can do the quick kill.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Normally, you need to break out Cadence or Link out of these ice pillars, but you don't need them at all if you have bombs. You can, because normally it takes 1 hit for Ganon to reduce his shield, and then another hit to actually deal damage to him. So you normally need 2 people to hit him. But with bombs and Nayru's Love, we can completely mitigate it.
Or just attack.
Also completely mitigate the necessity. Oh, I didn't know that worked that way. You could just lay the bomb like that. That's a lot more convenient. Oh.
So.
Okay, we got there.
That's
There
fine.
we go. Now we need to free our friends.
So this is the last bit. We need to free our friends and stand on the 3 Triforce symbols, and that will be the game.
Stop
It can
it.
be pretty tricky though. Sometimes there's a lot of mini bosses.
There we go. Done. Time.
Nice. Congratulations.
Woo!
Do your shoutouts.
24-ish. 25. That's good enough.
Do your shoutouts real quick.
Yes. Thank you, Brace Yourself Games, who made Necrodancer and Cadence of Hyrule. Thanks to my family for always being such a good support. Thanks to my commentators. There was so much to say and so little time to say it. And thank you so much to the Condor community, which is in the middle of its 9th racing season. You can find us at condor.live. That is like the bird, CONDOR.LIVE.
Now I'm going to pass out.
Anyone else?
I think we're good.
Now it's Cadence of Hyrule.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Kailaria, for such a speedy run. I love Cadence Hyrule. It's actually one of, it's the first game that I ever tried to speed run. I have a couple donations. We have 5730 from Telperion. Absolutely thrilled for Beatmania to have a moment in the spotlight at a GDQ event. Have enjoyed tuning into Sparko's streams, and I know she's gonna crush it. Up next, we have a run of Beatmania 2DX being run by Sparko. And before that, we're going to show a quick ad. Gotcha. Cool. Hello. So we hit a major milestone during the last run. We've now raised over $22,000 for Malala Fund. Thanks, everyone, and keep those donations coming. We have $100 from Meg MacAttack. Go Sparko, eyes on DX. I believe in you and Scraggles and the power of slapping buttons really fast. Thank you for that generous donation. We have $50 from Anonymous with no message. We appreciate all of your donations anyways. And we have $5 from Abba Dab O. I'm glad I came in to watch this photo finish of Legend of Zelda Randomizer. Now to support my friend Kailaria in her Cadence run. Good luck! And now we have Beatmania 2DX.